Hi, welcome to R&S Academy. My name is Ram Prasad. Let me give a small brief about me. I did my masters in R&AC and then I worked for 25 years with the various organizations involving in product development and technology innovation functions. I had 5 patents filed on my name. Out of my passion, I transitioned into teaching. Presently, I am into coaching GATE and IES aspirants on R&AC subject. I also conduct workshop on R&AC systems, faculty development programs, etc. for the engineering colleges. Recently, I conducted webinars for the members of ISHRE and ASHRE. Coming to this program, I am presenting here with a series of lectures on refrigeration systems for the benefit of the students and professionals. I believe these lectures will be of great help and learning to all of you. This is the second lecture in the series of lectures on refrigeration systems. In this lecture, I will start the discussion with the basic functions that are needed to be performed by any mechanical refrigeration system in order to produce the refrigeration effect. There are 4 basic functions that are required, namely compression, heat rejection, expansion and heat addition. Let us now see what will happen to the refrigerant, the working fluid, while these 4 functions are performed by the refrigeration system. During the compression function, the pressure of the refrigerant will be increased from the lower value to the higher value. Refrigeration system rejects heat to the surrounding medium. Expansion. During this function, the refrigerant pressure will be reduced from the higher value to the lower value. And finally, heat is added to the refrigeration system or heat is absorbed by the refrigeration system. Both are same. The refrigeration system absorbs heat from the surrounding medium or space during this function. Let us now discuss the basic principles of physics pertaining to refrigeration. Kindly note that my intention here is to give a high-level brief or small recap so that we all will be on the same page. For a given pressure, the temperature at which liquid boils or the vapor condenses is equal. Means for a given pressure, the boiling point of the liquid and the condensation point of its vapor both are same. For example, under 1 atmosphere pressure, water boils at 100 degrees centigrade and steam condenses also at 100 degrees centigrade. That's the interpretation. By changing the operating pressures, both the boiling point as well as the condensation point changes. For example, under 2 bar pressure, water will have its boiling point at 121 degrees centigrade. Similarly, steam under 2 bar pressure will have its condensation point at 121 degrees centigrade. Boiling is an endothermic process and hence it absorbs heat from the surrounding medium. How the surrounding medium temperature and the boiling point of the fluid are related? The boiling point of the fluid must be lower than the medium temperature. Here, the medium is the one which is supplying heat for the fluid to boil or evaporate, and hence the boiling point of the fluid must be lower than the medium temperature so that it receives heat from the medium. Condensation is an exothermic process, hence it rejects heat to the surrounding medium. How the surrounding medium temperature and the condensing point are related? The condensing point of the fluid must be greater than the medium temperature, because surrounding medium in this case will be receiving heat from the condensing fluid. Therefore, the condensing point of the fluid must be greater than the surrounding medium temperature. Let us now look at the evolution of refrigeration system, that is, how a mechanical refrigeration system produces the refrigeration effect while performing those 4 basic functions, namely compression, heat rejection, expansion and heat addition. Let us say we have a room that has to be maintained at 25 degrees centigrade. Let us assume a special container with some liquid inside that and placed in this room. The speciality of this setup is that the boiling point of this liquid can be controlled by us. That is, hypothetically, we can make this liquid boil at a temperature of our choice. We had seen in the previous slide that the boiling point of the fluid must be lower than the surrounding medium temperature. What is the surrounding medium for this container? Nothing but the room air at 25 degrees centigrade. Hence, this liquid in this container must be having a boiling point less than 25 degrees centigrade. But by how much? If we assume a delta T of 10 degrees centigrade, then this liquid must have a boiling point of 25 minus 10, 15 degrees centigrade. What is the purpose of this? So as to make this container absorb heat from the room by evaporating this liquid into vapor at 15 degrees centigrade, thereby maintaining the room at 25 degrees centigrade against the heat gains from various sources. This component is called the evaporator and it performs the function of heat addition. The next function is heat rejection. During this, the refrigeration system will be rejecting heat to the surrounding medium, which happens to be ambient air at 45 degrees centigrade in this case. Let us assume again another special container with some vapor inside that. The speciality of this setup is that the condensing point of this vapor can be controlled by us. That is, hypothetically, we can make this vapor condense at a temperature of our choice. We had seen in the previous slide that the condensing point of the vapor must be greater than the surrounding medium temperature. The surrounding medium for this container is the ambient air at 45 degrees centigrade. Hence, the condensing point for this vapor must be greater than 45 degrees centigrade. But by how much? If we assume a delta T of 10 degrees centigrade, then the condensing point of this vapor must be 45 plus 10, 55 degrees centigrade. What is the purpose of this? So as to make this container reject heat to the surrounding medium by condensing this vapor into liquid at 55 degrees centigrade. And this component is called condenser. The third function is the compression. Needless to say, it is performed by the compressor. What does compressor do? Compressor sucks the vapor from the evaporator at such a rate that the evaporator is maintained at 5 bar pressure. What is the significance of this number 5 bar? 5 bar is the saturation pressure corresponding to the boiling point of 15 degrees centigrade for R134A refrigerant. Therefore, as the evaporator is maintained at 5 bar pressure, the R134A liquid in it will boil at 15 degrees centigrade by absorbing heat from the room air, thereby maintaining the room at 25 degrees centigrade. The compressor then increases the pressure of the refrigerant vapor from 5 bar to 15 bar and delivers it into the condenser. What is the significance of this number 15 bar here? 15 bar is the saturation pressure corresponding to the condensing point of 55 degrees centigrade for R134A refrigerant. Therefore, as the condenser is maintained at 15 bar, the R134A vapor in it will condense at 55 degrees centigrade by rejecting heat to the surrounding medium, which is ambient air at 45 degrees centigrade. Hence, the refrigerant coming out of the condenser will be at 15 bar. The fourth function is the expansion, performed by expansion valve. The expansion valve will be reducing the pressure of the refrigerant from 15 bar to 5 bar. And this refrigerant at 5 bar will now be entering into the evaporator, thereby closing the loop or completing the cycle. With this lecture ends, and in case you have any questions, doubts, queries, etc., please feel free to write to me. The next topic in this series is on refrigeration cycles. See you then. Thank you very much.